All right, so Unit 2, test number 3, review. Number 9, have a FOIL problem. That is 49. That one is, remember, outside times outside, so that's really 1 times negative 3. That'd be the same as if you had negative 3 times x. You're not going to mix them together. You're going to write them after each other. Okay, plus 5, 7, minus 15. You add like terms. Convert the 49 is 7 plus 2 square root of 7 minus 15. That's going to give you negative 8 plus 2 square root of 7, or 2 square root of 7 minus 8. Either one. Okay. This one right here, I think what I want to do is go ahead and use the quotient rule and put them together, because I know that 320 ends in a 0, therefore it's divisible by 5, and that looks the same too. So what we can do is take 220 divided by 5 and you get 64. And then the same thing over the same thing. 5x's over the same 5x's makes them go away. So the whole thing turns into the square root of 64, which is 8. Okay? Outside times outside. Inside times inside. This times this would be 2, and then 5 times 15 is 75. Yes. Okay. And then 50 is 25 times 2, which is 5 times 2, which turns that into 20 square root of 2. And 75 is the square root of 25 and 3, so 5 square root of 3 times 2, negative 2, so it would be negative 10 square root of 3. And that is my final answer, because even though the indexes are the same, the radicands are not, so I cannot add. Okay? All right, this one here, square root of 3 times square root of 3 is square root of 9. This one is 715. This one is positive 15. Be careful, that doesn't have another 7 in it, so it's being tricky. This one here is negative 7 and 25. So let's see. These are still like terms, though, here and here. So square root of 9 is 3. And then negative 7 plus 1 makes negative 6 square root of 15. And then the square root of 25 is 5. Negative 7 times 5 is negative 35. And plus 3 is going to be negative 32 minus 6 square root of 15. A little tricky. All right. Simplify. A couple of choices here. I'm going to go ahead and do what I did above and go 18, because they're both even numbers. So I want to go ahead and reduce them by 2 each. So this is going to equal the square root of 9 over 25, which I would change back to that. I'm showing every step, so showing work is a good thing. That is my final answer. Okay, show some work for these. This one, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and pull apart, and then one of those rules says you're not allowed to have a rational number on the bottom, so to get rid of it, we want to multiply by itself. Whatever we do the bottom, we do the top. That's going to give you the square root of 4, which is 2, okay? And this is going to be 15 times 2, which is the square root of 30. You cannot reduce this. This is not a whole 30. You can't take the 2 out of the 30. This is the square root of 30. So that is your final answer for that one. 15, let's see. I think the only thing you can do here is get the radical off the bottom by multiplying itself. Rationalizing the denominator is the terminology for that. So that's going to give you the square root of 100, which is 10. This is going to give you negative 10 times the square root of 10. Let me write that over here. That's a 1. All right, 10, switch colors here. I can reduce that outside the radicand, the radical. So this is going to be negative square root of 10 is my final answer. Okay. Rewrite the radical expression as a rational. In other words, give me a fractional exponent. Okay. So the base is an x. The index is always the denominator. Okay, that's the index. And this is the power, so that always goes here. That's all they want for that, okay? Now they want you to turn this back around the other way. The negative means it's under a 1, okay? That gets you here, and then you want to do a radical expression. So that is the same as the index is the 8, the denominator, the x is the base, and that is to the power of 3. So that's the answer for that one. Okay. 27 to the raised to the negative. Okay, take this and simplify. So it wants it as a radical expression and then simplify. So radical expression instead of a rational exponent. So the base is 27. The index is 3. It's a negative, so it's under a 1. And then the whole thing is to the 4th. Okay, that's what all that means. Denominator is the index. The 4th is the power. Under the negative means it's under a 1. So orders of operations say to process the parentheses first. The third root of 27 is 3 raised to the 4th power. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is 81, right? So my final answer is 1 over 81 for that one and that one. Okay?